That's like a bow. Okay, okay. Hopefully that's enough. Oh, my hair. It's fine. Hello and welcome back to BEFFIOBSWWM, beating every single Final Fantasy in order because something is wrong with me, and this is episode 2 about Final Fantasy IV, a little game called Final Fantasy IV. You can see it's the original SNES Japanese cartridge. Final Fantasy IV came out in 1991. It was the first Final Fantasy SNES game, and it really used it to its full potential. I mean, I played the 3D remake, so it came on 2007 on the DS, so I don't really know exactly how it uses on the SNES firsthand, but I've been told. So I think it does that well. Similar to Final Fantasy 3. Sorry, I'm reading some notes I had. It had similar to Final Fantasy 3 3D remake, except none of the bad things. Except similar to Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4 3D remake, is just Final Fantasy 4 except none of the bad things. But I heard Final Fantasy 4 is like much harder than the SNES version. But I didn't have that much trouble. So, some stats. Let me pull up some stats for you. I might show this in the video or not. Final Fantasy 4. I started it on February 7th, 2024, and I finished it on on June 12th, 2025, for a total of 45 hours of playtime, which isn't that is a lot. It's less than Final Fantasy 3, but still a year and a half. I mean, it's one game for 45 hours. It's a good game. Game surprised, like one of the most celebrated JRPGs of all time is a good game. It is a very good game. The thing about it, like, some of the things I kind of can knock it for from 2025 perspective, I can't really get mad at, because, like, oh, it's too cliche, oh, it did this, it did that, because, like, I've seen this a million times, but, like, it started it. Like, how mad can you be at something for being cliche when it created the cliche? Like, that's how big Final Fantasy IV was. So, it's a JRPG. One of the two really main things, there's the story in the world, and then there's the combat. There's two main things. So let's start with the combat. So the party is structured where there's always there's five characters max, which is different from Final Fantasy 4. Final Fantasy 3, which is only 4 stagnant party members, with the 5th rotating out for like help sometimes, but you had 4 party members. Final Fantasy 4 is max of 5 party members rotating in and out, and you always have to have a row of 2 and 3. You can change if it's in front or back. There's always a row of 2 and a row of 3 in the back. When it's in the front, I think you do like normal damage, but you get hit more often. In the back, you get hit less often. You do less melee damage. So you want to keep your ranged and your healers in the back and your front line in the front. Makes sense. Classic RPG stuff, classic fighter stuff. So that's pretty good. However, there is an ATB system in this game, the first Final Fantasy game to do it. I'm pretty sure the first game to do this, active time battle, where instead of just doing turn by turn by turn by turn like it is in Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, you have a time gauge that needs to fill up, and every character has unique kind of, like, I think it's based on their speed stat. Once that time gauge fills up, then you can act. So sometimes, right, there's one character, Edge, that you get near the end of the game. He's a ninja. He's part of the ninja class. Like, all these characters kind of have the classes from Final Fantasy 3, like, built in them. Like, you don't get to customize these characters, like, a little bit. We'll get into that. But as much as in Final Fantasy 3. But they have the same class at heart. Like, that's the type of weapons they can use. Like, it's Final Fantasy 3, type of stats spread they have. But Edge, ninja, fast. Sometimes he moves twice before, like, some of the slower characters, like Radia the Black Mage Summoner. can move just because of this ATB. And can I say it's a breath of fresh air. It's amazing. It's a really, really cool system. And I've said last video that the games I played before starting this whole thing is like Final Fantasy VII, and that uses ATB. And it was pretty good, but this it just, to me, I think after not playing those games for very long, right? I'm Final Fantasy 3, and then it jumped right into Final Fantasy 4, and just being on Final Fantasy for so long, and then getting to Final Fantasy 4 and the ATB system, and it's so unique and refreshing, and it was a very good time. Then, when I said the little bit of customization, is the augments. Each character has like a special little quirk to them, per se, that they could do. Whether it be, and typically it's to the class, where like you can steal something for a thief character, or Kane, the dragoon, can jump. There's other non-character specific augments that you get throughout the game, like hidden places that you could add to these characters and have them do that. Like Cecil has Defend, and another thing is that when a character leaves the party for the final time, then you get their augment, and you could put it on, you could put it on any character, and then I think on a New Game Plus you stick with those augments. Now, I have a lot of problem with the augments. Let me see if I get to that in the script. I do. I'm going to mention it because it really makes me mad. Augments are permanent. Augments are permanent in a game with a rotating cast, and augments are limited. And augments are not very well explained, and I didn't understand how they worked until I was in the Underworld, which is like over halfway through the game. And so just imagine this, right? Full spoiler for Final Fantasy IV. I finally understand augments. I finally get them after watching like a video or something, or like hearing someone say something about augments. I'm like, oh wait, I should use these. And so at this time as well, I'm not very well versed with Final Fantasy, and so I didn't understand at the time that Libra was your can see the stats of characters. I didn't understand this at all. I didn't know that existed, and up to this point in my Final Fantasy journey, I didn't do this at all in Final Fantasy 3. At this point, I thought the only way to see stats of characters was to use Cid's ability, like Scout or Sight, or I forget what it is. And so when Cid leaves the party, I give that to Kane. Because I'm like, okay, Kane's cool, I like what Cecil has, blah, blah, blah. I'll give this to Kane. And so I give it to Kane in a dungeon, right? Right before a dungeon, I go through the dungeon, and I find out that he leaves the party at the end of the dungeon. And he comes back later, and he doesn't have that augment. The character gets wiped. All your items as well that you had on him get wiped and everything like that. And this just goes back to one of my biggest pet peeves in like every single RPG game you play, right, with a rotating cast. Is that they don't warn you? I mean, like, they shouldn't warn you, but it steals all your items. I think, and the limited things that you, because like stealing your items, sure, I can get like they're leaving and they take everything with them, right? It's like you just buy the items again, and that's like the story, I forget the word, but it's like melding the story and the gameplay, or it's like, oh, they all leave and you need to now replace that gap that they have with items, and you have to buy them and like using the money and whatever, right? So I kind of get that. The limited augments, though, I wanted that. For like 5 hours maybe, I forget how long, I was like pissed every time I was in battle because I wanted to like find everyone's stats, and I didn't know Libra existed. And so it was infuriating. And this happens multiple times, right? Because you have a party of 5, and I think there's 10 party members that rotate in and out. That like come, they die. They go, 2 come in, they die. Another go in, they die. They come back and they die. It's like, what is going on here? They keep rotating out and they keep losing all of these items. And I learned from Final Fantasy 3, I had not that good of experience because I followed a guide, and so I'm trying not to follow a guide here. And so I've been, sometimes when I'm lost, I read the guide and I was like catching up, like, oh, what happened, like if I took a break from the game, I was reading the guide to kind of follow up, and it tells you like, oh, this character's leaving, you should take all your stuff off. And it's like, I didn't know that. Why are you punishing me for like trying to experience this? Like, I lose all my augments, bro. And then, because once I learned that, I never used an augment again. And if I think I did once, and it was on Cecil, and because I'm like, I'm not risking this again. There's no point now to not save all your augments for when you have your final party. When you go into the moon, you have your final party, and then you can use all your augments. It makes no sense to use them after the fact, or sorry, before the fact, because you're gonna lose them. Because like I think all of those characters, I guess besides Edge in the final party, you can't do it the first time you meet them because they leave, except for Cecil, obviously. Cecil and Edge. I mean, and Edge comes in the end of the game. It's terrible. It's a well-intentioned system. It's an odd system. I don't think it does enough, because I feel like Final Fantasy, what it was going for with 3 was super creative, you make the game your own, and Final Fantasy 4 is very strict story. These characters are all named. I think maybe you get to change Cecil's name. I don't even know, but like everyone else's name, like everyone's named. It's a whole story with the characters, and they have character traits and everything. Good character traits, who knows? But they have character traits, and they have a storyline. And so that little bit of customization, I enjoy. I'm happy that they tried to make a little bit of customization, but it fell completely flat here. And augments aren't in the SNES version. I don't even know if they're in the Pixel remaster, because again, I bought this game before the Pixel remasters were even announced. So I started it, I think before they came out or something. I mean, I don't know, but I played the 3D remake. So I think I didn't have it. It doesn't matter. So augments aren't even in that. It's just a 3D remake problem, and it's a big problem. Okay, let's move on to the general gameplay. Right, we talked about the combat, the 5-party system. Let's go into the gameplay. It's a JRPG. It's a classic JRPG. It's the classic JRPG. Besides Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 4 is like kind of, I think, established JRPGs, like RPG, turn-based RPGs, I should say. I don't like the term JRPG, but it's so succinct. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, especially when talking about Final Fantasy. It's like the JRPG with Dragon Quest. Either way, right? It's like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy 1 set the standard for what a turn-based RPG can be, should be. Final Fantasy 4, I think, expanded on that and dove deeper into like what it could do now that you had the power of a 16-bit system with the SNES. And so I feel like this is the second step in this journey I've had, right? Final Fantasy 3 seemed very archaic, and Final Fantasy 4 doesn't seem modern quite yet. I mean, from a 2025 standpoint, modern is Expedition 33 and Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right? I mean, I guess those are more, no, Expedition 33 is turn-based, but, you know, a lot more action, a lot more interdependencies. Final Fantasy 4 seems like a really obvious middle step, and I really like that. I felt like I was stepping into the future between these two games. So another thing with the gameplay is that there's a lot of side quests. You talk to a lot of characters. You should talk to a lot of characters. Something I'm learning about these Final Fantasy games is that you should talk to literally everyone. I feel like maybe it's from my time in Pokemon, being like the only other significant JRPG I played a lot, but like you don't really have to talk to anyone. They give you funny dialogue. But in this, you actually should talk to everyone sometimes. Surprisingly, it actually gives you quests. Again, I don't know if this is a 3D remake thing or if they even had this in the SNES version. But they give you some like cool side quests. There was this one near the end of the game. Actually, I'm thinking about Final Fantasy V. Never mind. They give you, there's a lot of side quests. Most of the side quests, though, are summons. And this is sick. This is, I think, my favorite part about the game is collecting all of the summons through different mini-bosses. This is so sick, just discovering them, and sometimes I used a guide. Like, near the end of the game, I was like, let me finish everything up, I missed these things, let me use a guide. But even using the guide, it was the sickest thing in the world, to, like, go to the realm of Eidolons and have to fight the king and queen for, like, Leviathan and the other one. Like, that story about how they want to know that Rydia is safe and they want to prove that they can use their power, but they're happy to give it up. Or even when you have to go into the kingdom's basement to get Odin, and it's the soul of the previous king. All of it, it's so cool. It's the coolest thing, all of these summons. And I mean, at the time I was like, I hope this continues, but time of recording, I've been Final Fantasy V. we'll talk about that in the next video. But how they do summons, and I didn't look up a guide for any of these summons, or I looked up a guide for some of these summons. It's so cool. I think it's my favorite thing about the Final Fantasy series so far. All of them. All of them are so cool, and every time you get one, you just want to use it. And Rydia, for that reason, for the summons, became my favorite character. Not because of the character growth or anything like that. Another side quest I think is becoming consistent in all of these games is getting the rat tail and the strongest sword. And even the dragon scales. I didn't get this dragon scales in this game. I wanted to. I was planning on it, and I decided against it because I was like, that's a lot of grinding. But I got the strongest sword. I didn't make sure I got the, unobtainium or adamantite to get the strongest sword, or to get the ultimate weapon. The ultimate weapon is not the strongest sword. You get a stronger sword near the end of the game, like in the final dungeon. Like, you have to do that before the final dungeon. In the final dungeon, you get a stronger sword. Why? I went through that whole side quest. I went through that whole extra dungeon, and it's not the strongest sword? What? Make it the strongest sword. If you have a side quest to create the ultimate sword, you have to wait in-game time for it. You have to do this side quest before a certain time, and then do this story mission, and then come back, and then the sword's created. It can't happen before. It's not the strongest sword. I don't know why. And then the bosses guarding the weapons in the final dungeon, that was pretty cool. It does get, I think it was in Final Fantasy 3. It was in Final Fantasy 5 as well. So I just keep doing it. It was pretty cool, I think. I forget. I think it's pretty cool. Like how the strongest weapon of each class, of each character, is guarded behind a boss. And that's the strongest weapon, by the way. I think it was like the Titan or the Gravestone or something like that. It's behind a mini boss. Or I guess it's a mini boss. And you get the strongest sword there, instead of getting the Adamantite side quest. That's very out of the way. No, it's just in the final dungeon. Actually, you did all that, and then 30 minutes later you get the strongest sword, even though it's the ultimate weapon. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Alright, and then does a very good job of merging gameplay into battles naturally. Oh yes, and something you can only do. You can have me like it with set party members, exactly. So, something it really does well is the story and battles. This is the first time it's done that, and I watched a video about it, how they really want to take advantage of the new power of the SNES. They didn't have the time. I gotta go at a certain time. I got it. And so there's a lot of cutscenes in battle, which is pretty cool. I mean, at this point, 2025, it's fine, it's whatever. But I could acknowledge that in 1991, that must have been the coolest thing in the world. To have Edge cry about his parents while you're killing them, in battle, dialogue in battle is such, a cool advancement that this game made that you have to give all the props in the world. So, now speaking about props in the world, let's talk about the world. It's very, very high fantasy. I've been told it's Lord of the Rings vibes. Unfortunately, I've never seen Lord of the Rings. There's dragons and all these fantasy classes and high magic and different races. I know there's not different races. I forget. I'm getting lost here. It's been a while since I've beaten this game or even thought about it. I wrote this script in like 6 months ago or something. Script in heavy quotes. And what's really cool is that it kind of gives Lord of the Ring vibes because there's a different realm, right? There's the underworld and the moon. There's heaven and hell, Guilty Gear style. And I think the Final Fantasy moment of this game, right? The Final Fantasy moment of Final Fantasy 3 is expanding and finding out you are on a tiny floating island that you thought was the entire world. Final Fantasy moment in this game is a lot weaker, I would say, but it has to be when you go to the underworld for the first time. You do the quest and you get the I think it's you get the ruby or the magma stone, you drop it down the well, and a volcano explodes and you're able to go down. It's man, there's this whole other world, and you're able to fly around it, right? And you see these caves all around it. It's a pretty big underworld. And I will say, the Final Fantasy one of going to the moon, I don't think it's as strong as going to the underworld, because that was sick. That was sick. Like this whole massive cutscene of volcano like coming up from the mountain, exploding everywhere, and there's lava, and then you are able to descend down. That was pretty cool. Not as insane as how I felt for the Final Fantasy 3, even when I was spoiled. But it was still a pretty good moment. So now on to the story. We're talking about the combat. We're talking about the gameplay, about the world. Let's talk about the story. I want to say it's basic and cliche, but again, like I said earlier, started the cliche, so how mad can it be at it? The only thing that I really can critique is how many fake deaths there are. There's some real deaths, right? There's Tella who dies, and Edward who dies, and like very on screen, very like purposefully, and it does hit. But in every other character, of every single character you have, besides Edge, Rosa, and Cecil, obviously, every other character you have dies, or fake dies. I guess Kane doesn't fake die, but he gets mind controlled, so kind of dead. But then they all are alive. And I found out later that this is due to them actually wanting to make that part of the story. And at the end, the final boss, all of the characters would come back and you'd be able to pick your ideal party. That was the original goal. And I think in some remakes of Final Fantasy IV, you actually are allowed to do that. And so part of the side quest is finding out they were alive, and then you get to use them, kind of come back for the final battle, your ideal party, which is pretty cool concept, especially for 1991. But they took that out of the game, and now what it's left with is a pretty dour note on every single character, and all of their stories, because a lot of them come full circle, and then you do a side quest and they're alive, or they're in a cutscene and they're alive, and it's like, what was this all for? The prime example of this is Param and Porum, the twins that sacrificed themselves for everyone else to escape, and maybe one of the sickest cutscenes, especially in the 3D version, right? The walls are coming in on them, and then all they have to do is like look at each other, they nod, their twin connection, and they turn themselves to stone, and they stop the wall. And then Tella's there, like, Asura! It's like, what isn't happening? And then it kind of like the text box where it's like, it did not work, like it's an actual fight, because they chose to turn to stone themselves. And that hits so hard.
The drowned king, Kanyatsu, deposed, but the wicked are not wont to fall alone. In life, I was terrible. In death, steeped in terror, greater still. Drink long and deep of it ere you die. I'll save a briny pit for you in hell. The walls! It's burned! This one too! Porum!
Cecil! We'll miss you! It was almost like we gained an older brother.
What's gotten into you two?
We won't let you all die like this! Tella, look after Cecil for us! Together! Now! Right!
Porum. They turned themselves to stone? Hold on now. Esuna! any of us had to die, it ought to have been me. They were only children. I'll fire up the Enterprise! We'll venge them both!
You will answer for this, Golbez.
That, I think, at that moment, that was my favorite moment in Final Fantasy so far. I mean, it's 2 games in, but like, oh my god, that hit hard. And I was, and what's the sickest part about that is every single time you walk through the hallway from then on, they're guarding the doors. They're holding back the crushing walls. And it's just a reminder of their sacrifice, permanent installed in the game, that they sacrifice themselves, they're set to stone forever, unincurred because they chose to do it themselves, to save you, to save the world, even though they're just 2 twins. And it's fantastic. It literally can bring you to tears. However, they're in the final cutscene praying for you to get your ultimate power. It was for nothing. They just lived. Like, it was off screen too. They got cured off screen, and then they're in the cutscene praying for you to get the lunar whale up, and then in the final battle they pray for you again, double prayer, and it's like DP if you will, and it's like it's so lame. Like, that moment was so good, just for you to off screen that revive them, and then they're out there in a cutscene.
Indeed. Now is the time we pray for them. No, for the entire world. Hallam, Holem, we must see that all the prayers made here reach Cecil and his friends on the moon. Cecil, my friend.
This is your chance. Please have courage.
We'll all be waiting for you.
Return safe.
For the sake of the whole Earth.
Rise up! Our prayers are with you. Come on, you can do it! Cecil! Everyone!
Great moon. Please, hear our prayers.
Brother.
Cecil, it must be you.
Zeromus. This is the end for you, not us.
Same thing with Yang. Yang's was a little dumber. Sid's was even better. I saw a video they were hating on Sid's cutscene. Sid's cutscene is arguably just as good as Talon Borum's, where he's like, "I'm too young to die." Also his voice actor in 3. The 3 remake has fully animated cutscenes and voice actors for all the characters. Sid is the best character in that game. Like, story wise, and then Radio is my favorite. Gameplay wise, doesn't matter. Sid, when he dies, to have everyone escape the underworld.
Come on! Enterprise! The engines can't take this! Cecil, take over!
Sid! What are you doing?
Once you reach the surface, I'll seal off that hole for good! With this!
No, not you too!
I was hoping I'd get to see your kids someday. But, well, someone's got to keep young company. You get yourselves back to battle. Talk to my boys there.
But Sid!
You'll die!
And so young, too! Bombs away! Try stopping this, Topaz! My once-in-a-lifetime undated fly!
Sid. One after another.
Rushing to die like fools.
We go to Baron for Sid.
You just go back to the underworld and he's just resting, and then he's not supposed to get up, and then they frame it as like he's using the last of his energy to fix the ship, and then he dies, but he's still just snoring on the bed. It's so weird, because he dropped from like all the way from like middle of the volcano all the way to the ground with bombs that he explodes. You see the explosion, so badass. You got to see that cut. I'm gonna put it in the video. And then he's just alive, like nothing happened, and he fixes the ship and he goes back to sleep, and it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Yang also dies and just like dies for a stupid reason, like sacrificing themselves when he didn't need to.
It's too dangerous.
Young!
I will take care of things in here. The rest of you, get out!
Are you mad?
It's too late, Young!
Forgive me.
Young! Young!
If you should see my wife again, tell her to live enough for us both. Don't be a fool. Open the door.
Young! Please, Young! Don't throw your life away!
Young!
It has been an honor fighting with all of you.
Open the door, Young! Young!
And then he's just back alive, getting cared for by fairies. I mean, the side quest to revive him or to like get his augment or anything is very fun. You have to go to his wife, say like, "Oh, we found Yang, he's alive." You have to get her pan, then bang it, and it wakes him up like he's like he has PTSD, which like it's not funny, but it's funny. It's very funny. It's very funny. Oh, also with the story, some of the plot points are so obviously like we need them to go here. What can we do? We'll do this, right? So for example, all of a sudden, randomly, Rosa gets desert fever. She's like healthy. She's helping you out. She's behind the government's back, because like the overall plot is that like Cecil is captain of Red Wings. He's told by the king. The king's been acting really weird lately, and is told to do capture the crystal. And he does it, and he's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And he's like, how dare you talk back to me? I'm gonna send you on this quest alone. And then Kane, your boy, he's like, no, I'm gonna go with him. And Cecil's like, alright. So they go to this town to capture the crystal, or to beat the spirit dragon mist that's been like torturing people or whatever, according to the king. You go to the cave, you kill the mist dragon, which is like acts like a tutorial, and then you exit the cave, and he actually gives you before you go, you like also deliver this to the thing. In some of the games, it's bomb ring, but in one of them, it's like a pretty, like it kind of hides that fact, which is pretty cool. So imagine it's like you don't know what it is. Instead of saying bomb ring, you walk into the town after defeating the Mist Dragon. Everything explodes, like the bomb ring like lights up and explodes everything. Everything's on fire. You find out that the Mist Dragon is connected to a person. Killing the Mist Dragon killed the person, and now this girl is so enraged that she somehow summons Titan and like puts an earthquake in the middle of the village. And you and Kane are separated, and now you and Rydia have to go back to the castle like the long way while Kane goes the short way. You go back, you see Rosa, it's like, blah, blah, and then Rydia is like 5, I think at this point. She's like 6. and then you do something, Rosa tells you do something, you come back, and now she suddenly has desert fever, and you need to go to this place to get the cure. And it's like, all of a sudden, like, you couldn't have any other reason for me to go to the desert to meet, like, all these, like, Tella and Edward and stuff like that. It's just like the tiny things. It's like, fine, like, sure. I mean, I play a lot of games for the story and for the gameplay, so it was a little like, but I mean, I'm playing it nonetheless. Like, I don't really care the story at this point. The gameplay was pretty good. Oh yeah, and then also they're on a ship, and then they get crushed by Leviathan, and it turns out Leviathan only did that to protect Rosa, to protect Rydia, because thought Rydia was being kidnapped. Leviathan, quick camera cut. Leviathan never like explains like why they destroyed the ship, but it's like, it's just to age Rydia up. It's just an excuse to age Rydia up because she was 6 and now she's like 18 or something, like 19. It's very weird. It's because time moves faster there. Obviously, I love Japan. Also, I'm not a big fan of like praying saves the day or like power of friendship type stuff, and they do praying saves the day twice. Praying got the lunar whale up, and then praying gives Cecil his ultimate power near the end. Also, near the end, there's the Giant of Babel, which spawns out of nowhere. You have to I forget why, but it's like an ancient safety measure. And the giant mech just starts running across the entire world, and you have to destroy it. Why is that there? I thought it's like, I get that Final Fantasy is like built on being fantasy sci-fi all the way from the first game. You can go up to the UFO and fight robots and stuff like that. And even in every other Final Fantasy game I've played, there is some sci-fi elements in there with the predominantly fantasy. But it's like, why all of a sudden there's a giant robot? Okay. Sure, fuck it. I'll destroy the CPU. Now, the ending is what really makes this story good, right? All you need to have is really a good beginning and a good end in order for a story to be good. I mean, like, a story should be good throughout, but like, really what you need is a good ending and a fine enough beginning. And the ending is pretty good. Basically, I don't really like how, like, the enemy actually has a bigger enemy type thing. That's the entire reason why I don't like Naruto, because the ending is so bad, because there's a puppet is actually controlling the other puppet, and controlling another thing. Golbez, the main villain of the entire show, is actually being controlled by someone else, being controlled by something with his Z or X, something like that. And turns out Golbez is actually Cecil's brother, from a long time ago, and was able to be controlled by the darkness because they had darkness in their heart, because they blamed Cecil for killing the mom because she died in childbirth, which is very cool. Like, tackling that sort of thing of like, is it right to blame them, and like, can you stop yourself from blaming them? It's a very cool character trait for like this villain to like be able to be taken over because of this tragic act. It's not his fault, but he has some sort of resentment for it. It's pretty interesting thing, pretty interesting concept. And then Golbez is able to sacrifice himself, and knows he can't atone for his action, instead wants to just isolate himself. And then there's a whole thing of like, Cecil, you don't have to forgive me because I'm your brother. And even though Rose is like, he's your brother, yeah! Like, it's like, shut up. Okay, do you know what he did? He's Hitler. He's like, I don't need to forgive him. Cecil's like, I don't really want to. And he's like, farewell. And that's the only word he says, and Golbez, that means the world to him. Because it's those sweet moments, like, he doesn't forgive him. He doesn't forgive all the torture that Golbez has put him through, the world through. But he does recognize his brother, and he does recognize that none of it's his actual actions. So the best he could say is farewell. And that means the world to Golbez, and Golbez knows, and everyone knows, right? It's a really touching ending. But, along with the theme, speaking of that, the main theme of this is friendship always wins. That's the theme. I mean, can I be mad? It was 1991. It wasn't the theme yet. Like, stories and games just started existing. So, I am mad, but I can't be mad at it. I'm just mad at the world. It gets really lame by the end. Like, oh. Also, another theme is, like, redemption, like, changing yourself. All of these, every single character has a redemption arc of some kind. they change. Like every single character has a starting point and an end point, and they get to that point that's completely different. And I think that's pretty admirable for a 1991 game when this hasn't been done before. Cecil has to go from dark to light, has to actually change his class start from a 1. He does the whole thing of like becoming a different person, which is very cool. Radia transforms from a kid who doesn't know anything to an adult who wants to save friends. Edge changes from a snotty prince to someone ready to change the world. Kane, everyone goes through their thing. Tella especially goes through a thing of revenge, and it kind of shows you revenge is not the right way to go because it kills him in the end. The rage kills him in the end, exerting him. And also there's this good, is it facsimile? Pseudo Vergalia, that's a different game. Pseudo-narrative distance is the word. It's not dissonance. Basically, Tella as well, when you have him, when you level him up, because he already has higher stats, but he slowly loses stats. And the one stat that doesn't increase is MP, and it stops at 90. And one of the spells, if you max him up to level 99 or whatever, he gets Meteor, but Meteor takes like 91 MP, so you're never able to use it. And in the cutscene where he dies, he uses Meteor, which goes over his MP cap if you're paying attention, the keen-eyed viewers. And that kills him, and that's a really cool moment that they didn't really have to do, but like the attention to detail is kind of insane. That's a great moment. I didn't realize that in the time. I realized after, so it doesn't have that big of an impact on me like Sid or like Pal and Porum, but very good.
Why? Why now stay your hand?
You, but how? We will finish this another time. Cecil, you all right?
Yes, I'm fine, but Tella...
Thinking I could best him. You shouldn't talk. I brought this on myself, letting hate consume me so. Please, avenge Anna.
Tella! No!
Come on! Open your eyes, you old fool! Oh, Tella. Rest then with that daughter of yours.
Tella, we will avenge your death and Anna's. I swear it.
Alright, we're almost done. Let's talk about the likes. I'm a story person. This is a story game. I like the story for what it is. 1991. What can you do? Stories have gotten better, but this is 1991. I'm also starting to realize I just like Final Fantasy, and this is as pure a Final Fantasy game as you can get. From what I know about Final Fantasy and the other Final Fantasy games, it's literally just good story, good characters, good world. And the gameplay was revolutionary for the time, and so it's like, what can you be mad about? If you like Final Fantasy, you're gonna like Final Fantasy 4. Side quests are awesome. I love the summons so very much. The characters are amazing. Kane is a badass. If I was 12 playing this, bro, Kane would be my profile picture on everything, I swear to God. Alright, the cutscenes were really cool, especially for the 3D version, like the Sid cutscene, the Porum cutscene, all the cutscenes really. Very well voice acted. I love all the voice actors. All the choices were really good. ATB is a fantastic system, I think. The jury's out if I like it more than turn-based, because I also really love turn-based, and I love the strategy that comes with it, but ATB is a lot more interactive. I can't put down my controller. I can't auto it. I mean, you can auto it, but really have to be reactive, especially when, how I think of RPGs a lot, or turn-based RPGs, is you're in attack mode and then you're in frantic recovery mode. It's one of those two things. And so when someone dies suddenly and you have to rejudge all of your actions, and it's okay, well, this person gets active first than this person, but this person has a healing spell, so I'm gonna have them use the potion, them use the healing spell, and you're trying to plan out based on their speed, based on how fast you think they'll act next. That part is amazing. ATB definitely clears turn-based in that part, but the strategy you're able to put into turn-based, knowing the exact turn order, I also kind of get a kick out of it. Uematsu cooked with this one. The music is fantastic, as it was in Final Fantasy 3, but I think specifically how the music interacts with a lot of the cutscenes is inspired. It's amazing, especially the ending cutscene where it's predetermined where everything will go. He's able to make the last beat hit as like I think like the title card, or as you zoom out or something, it's genuinely amazing. It like actually made me tear up. I mean, I spent 40 hours on these games with these characters, and then like seeing them at the end with the wedding and everything, and everyone there is really tear-jerking, and it was me. The OST is a banger. I've listened to the soundtrack like since I've been in the game like numerous times. Now to the dislikes. There's too many rotating party members. 5 is a lot. I think it could be done, but it needs to be done different than it is in this game. It destroys your items and your augments, and kind of inadvertently decentivizes you from exploring too much, because once you get like, oh, all these characters are leaving, how much time do I have with them? I don't want to invest too much time. I'll just invest in Cecil, right? And it's like, I'll just think about him. I'll just prepare for him, right? It's like, okay, it's like it's doing the opposite of what it wants it to do. What the game wants you to do. So I think that the Excalibur is shit. Like, just finding, like, getting this whole side quest for the secret weapon, and then just the final dungeon, you just get a better weapon, like, right after. I found the adamantite. Let me get the stronger weapon. The story is almost there. It doesn't go too deep into any one concept that it seems like it's going to kind of like tackle. But it's also 1991. It's the first game to have dialogue during fights. Like, what are you expecting it to do here? So from a 2025 perspective. But I am grading everything and ranking everything from a 2025 perspective. So, especially I played 3 remake in 2007. I mean, again, it's based off a 1991 game, but still, what can you really do here for what it is in that time? If I was in 1991, a game reviewer on Famitsu or whatever, and playing this game, it's the best game of all time. But I'm 25 and I'm a loser in his room, not wanting to do his homework. It's alright. Overall, it's very close to being like a genuinely perfect game. But the gameplay is really shallow, and the characters almost not so. It's for sure above average, but I'm going to give it a... Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Right in the middle, like 7.58. Between great and fantastic for me. I'm not going to replay it, because it's super a story game. Like Final Fantasy 3, you could like have someone like, oh, I want to go with this class again. I don't want to do this class at all, like in this challenge run or whatever. Final Fantasy 4 is a straight story run. Every single run is going to be the exact same. Can't really spec your characters into anything much, which I think is a negative, but I mean, it's trying to go for a story, and it executes the story very well. So it's not really a replayable game unless you forget the story at all. None of these characters is likely going to stick with me. I mean, since I've beaten it, I haven't really thought about any of these characters again. Kane, I thought at the time of writing, I thought he was going to stick with me. I have not thought of him. He's not going to stick with me. But, I mean, every time I do see a Dragoon, I do think of Kane. Kane is the sickest Dragoon, I think, out there. We'll see if that changes, but Kane is the sickest Dragoon. I recommend it if you're a fan of JRPGs or story games or old games, but not really else. If you're kind of wanting to get into RPGs, I'm not going to recommend this game. There's other Final Fantasy games I think you should play. Even at this point, like I've beaten 4 games. I'm like, this is like, you should play 5 instead. But you know, so it's good if you want a good story. If you want to know one of the greats, then play it. But otherwise, no. So right now, I'll rank it above Final Fantasy 3. But those are the only 2 games right now. I rated Final Fantasy 3 like a 3 out of 10 or something like that. I didn't like that game. Final Fantasy 4, 8 out of 10. Very good. Next is Final Fantasy 5. I know under my criteria there's 2 games between that. However, I did not know. I did not have this whole concept yet at the time. So we're going to do those after Final Fantasy 5. Those 2 games being Final Fantasy Adventure and Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So, here's a little game so far. Final Fantasy 5 is next. Enjoy.